Today we are going to learn how to put your saxophone together, how to take care of your saxophone, things to watch out for, and then how to clean it up and put it away when you're done. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is find somewhere safe to put your instrument case. I have my saxophone on the floor next to my desk. If you're in my room, then the safest place is probably going to be on the floor. It needs to be somewhere flat and not on your lap because you need space and you can't juggle all those things. So, case on the floor. If you're at home, then you could have it on the floor or you could have it on maybe your bed or the kitchen table. But regardless of where you put your case, it needs to be somewhere safe where nobody's going to step on it, run into it, break it. Instruments are really expensive, especially saxophones, so you need to have it somewhere really, really safe, okay? So, you have your case. You should be able to read your name on the top, okay? Read your name on the top. If it is upside down like this, if you can't read your name, then that means that the case is upside down, and when you open it, everything's going to fall out, and then it's going to break, and then no one's happy. Okay, so should be able to read your name. Another way that you can tell is by looking at these letters and numbers right here. If they're upside down like this, and you can't read them, case is upside down. Okay, so make sure it's going the right way and that you can read your name. Okay, so I'm putting this on the floor where it's safe. And you can, now that it's somewhere safe and you can read your name, you can go ahead and open it up. Okay, now inside, and I'm going to tilt my computer down so you can see. Inside, besides the instrument, of course, you should also have this cleaning, or you should have the cleaning cloth here, your reed, and your saxophone strap. Okay, make sure you have those three things. If you lose any of them, especially your saxophone strap or your cloth, you will have to buy a new one. Because I don't have an endless supply. I wish I did, but I don't. Okay? So you are responsible for turning those in at the end of the year with your instrument. And I clean them every year so nobody else's spit is on them. Okay? The first thing you need is your saxophone strap. So go ahead and grab that. Here it is. Okay, and it goes around your neck. Okay? The hook should be on the bottom. Okay? Now you can go ahead and take the big body of your saxophone. Okay, so here it is. On the back of your saxophone, it's somewhere between the hook and where your thumb goes at the top. This is where the saxophone has its strap thing. So go ahead and strap your saxophone on. Come on. Sometimes it needs a little encouragement. There we go. Okay, make sure it's nice and secure. Okay. If the hook comes off, that's the first thing that you need to get that back on, because most of the weight of the saxophone is on this strap, and it's also on your thumb under this hook, which we'll get to in just a second. Okay, so the saxophone, strap on, hooked. Saxophone should rest on your knee, okay, on your left knee while you're doing the rest of this. Okay, go ahead and get your neck piece. And it wiggles on very gently. It looks like this is a little too tight. If you can't get it on, try loosening this screw right here. There we go. Okay, and I just wiggled it gently. Actually go ahead and switch to your right knee, because now your mouthpiece is going to actually have to angle a little bit back toward your body. So saxophone, right knee, mouthpiece, point it toward your face so that it's going the right way, because saxophones, when you're playing it, go to the side, and so you want to make sure it's angled a little bit so that it's going actually into your mouth. Okay, now go ahead and tighten this part right here. Okay, now your neck should be pretty snug. It shouldn't be moving. Okay, and next part, you can go ahead and hold your saxophone to the side. The curve of the saxophone is near your hip. Okay. And keep your face straight looking up, and tilt the saxophone until it's at your neck, or it might be at your nose. You want it to be at your mouth, but here's why mine isn't right now. Excuse me. If I was letting the strap take all the weight, It's all the way down here. It's way too low. Okay? That means I'm not going to go down here to play it like this. It means that I need to tighten the strap so that it's up here at my mouth. But you never look down to play. You never go like this to play. You adjust the strap so that it's going the right way. So, instrument back on your knee so that it's safe. And you can tighten or loosen your strap. If the neck of the saxophone was hitting your throat, then that means that you need to tighten the strap up. Okay, so I'm gonna see. Let's see if this is good. Okay, go ahead and let it kind of sit, and have it over to your side at your hip. And tilt it, see if it's running into your mouth yet. It's still not, it's still at my chin. That means that I'm gonna have to tighten my strap even more, okay? And you're gonna get used to where your strap needs to be, so this won't take very long after you guys get used to your instruments. Okay, oops, and my hook came off, so now I gotta fix that. Okay, always pay attention to that hook because they do fall off sometimes. And if you think it's hooked, but then it's not, you might drop your instrument. Okay. All right, let's see if that's good. Saxophone to the side. I'm looking straight ahead, and let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm not going down to play it. I'm not reaching up to play it. It's at a pretty good spot for me. Okay. All right, last step. And remember, you should have your reed in your mouth this whole time. Go ahead and grab your mouthpiece. Okay, you can take the cap off. Okay, cap stays in the case. All right, and go ahead and take your ligature off. That's this metal part right here. Okay, ligature, just put it to the side. We'll get back to it in a second. Okay, on the mouthpiece, there's a side with a hole, and then there's the, diagonal side. The side with the hole is the part that points down to the ground. Okay, so here's the hole. Turn it so it's going down to the ground, and go ahead and gently wiggle it onto your neck. It doesn't cover the cork the whole way. That's okay. You just want it snug, but not so snug that you can't get it off at the end of class. Okay? So, hole is pointing down. Next, you need your reed, which should be in your mouth. It's not in mine because, like I said, this is not my reed, and that would be gross. Okay, on your reed, there is a curvy side. You can hardly see it on the camera. But there's a curvy side, and then there's a flat side. The flat side's usually where they have the name of the reed printed. The flat side of the reed goes on the flat side of the mouthpiece, okay? So flat side kisses the other flat side, okay? So go ahead and stick that on, and then I'm going to adjust mine down a little bit. I put it too high, okay? Your reed should be just barely at sticking up above the plastic, like this much, hardly. You should just barely be able to feel it. Be very gentle with your reed. If you crack it, or if it chips or breaks, you're going to need to buy a new one, okay? It does happen. Reeds wear out. It's not that you did something wrong, but you want to be extra careful with them so that you're not buying reeds every week, okay? All right, so that's in a pretty good spot. Go ahead and take your ligature and place it gently over the whole thing, reed and mouthpiece. If your ligature gets stuck here, it's probably because you have it upside down. Never, ever force your ligature on, ever. Okay, so flip that over, get it to the right side. And now that it's on, you actually might be able to see that my reed adjusted a little bit. It's a little too low. So I'm just going to kind of wiggle it back into place, push it up gently. Okay, and tap very carefully right here to make sure it's in a good spot. And then tighten the screws on the ligature right here. Okay, all right, you've got your instrument together. Woohoo! Now, don't let this reed get dried out, otherwise it's not going to play well for you. All right, so like I said, we talked about this a second ago. Your saxophone goes to the right of your body, your right hip, okay? Your thumbs are in charge of the back of the instrument. Other fingers are in charge of the front, okay? Right thumb, there's a little hook. Some of them are black, some of them are gold, but you should be able to find the hook underneath the neck strap. That is where your right thumb fits into. And most of the instrument is held with your right thumb and your neck strap, okay? Your left thumb goes on the circle right here. Again, some of you it's black, some of you it's not. This is the back of the instrument. See, all the keys are on the front. Here's the back. Thumbs go on the back. So thumb and thumb. Okay? Now, on the front, you're going to press 1, skip this little one, 2, 3. Okay? So that's 1, 2, 3. And then on the bottom, 1, 2, 3. Your pinky just rests here. It doesn't have to play anything. And then the same for this pinky. It just rests on these keys. Don't press it down or anything. Okay? They just rest there for now. All right? Oop. Sometimes that does happen. There we go. All right. So double check your thumbs on the back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Over to the side. And go ahead and play. Remember teeth? Don't bite because you need your reed to be able to vibrate, so don't be too tight. If you're squeaking, you're probably a little too tight. Loosen up on the reed a little bit. Or you might have to put more into your mouth, okay? Oh, and you know what? I think my neck strap's a little too tight now. So let me loosen that up. There we go. Okay? So I knew that it was too tight because my mouthpiece was running into my nose. Okay? It should be going straight into your mouth right here. Okay? All right, so you play, you play, you play. You might not sound fantastic yet, but you will. Don't worry, you can do it. Okay? When you're done, rest it on your knee. We're going to go backwards for taking it apart. Take your ligature off first, loosen those screws. Take your ligature off and put it to the side. Carefully take your reed and gently slide it into the case, very carefully, and not so far that it gets stuck, because sometimes they do get stuck and then you can't get it out and you can't play. Okay? Reed in the case, don't lose it, it's very important. Gently wiggle your mouthpiece off, put your ligature back on, and remember, if your ligature gets stuck like that, and it's not on all the way, you probably have it upside down. So flip it over. Okay, you don't need to tighten it. Cap on the mouthpiece in the case. All right, next part, you're gonna loosen the neck first. So loosen this one right here. Okay, and gently wiggle the neck off. Come on. There we go. Okay, neck is off. And I did get a little impatient. I shouldn't have, because if you don't want to ever force anything on an instrument, it just, take your time. Be patient. Wiggle it off. You'll be better than me. Okay, your neck piece back in the case. It should have the perfect puzzle piece for it. Instruments always fit like a puzzle piece back into their case because you want it snug so that it's not wiggling around, but you also need to make sure you put it in the right place, because otherwise it might get bent if it's not in the correct space. Okay, next part, go ahead and take your neck piece off, or your neck strap off, I mean. You might need to loosen it a little to get it over your head. Neck strap in the case. Now, go ahead and grab your cleaning cloth, okay? At the bottom of your cleaning cloth is a little heavy piece. Go ahead and drop the heavy piece into the bell of the instrument, okay? So you drop it and turn your cloth so that this part is resting on the hole like this, okay? We want to make sure we get all the spit when we're pulling it through. Okay, so now you have to kind of turn it upside down and wiggle it until the heavy part falls through, okay? And go ahead and pull. Okay, and that actually came through pretty easily. Sometimes it does get stuck, just keep pulling, it'll come through eventually. Okay, do that at least 3 times. If you're playing a lot, like if you've been playing for like 2 hours, then at least 4, I would say. Okay, I'm gonna just do it one more time to show you. So remember, this is nice and flat over the hole, okay? And carefully, without dropping it, you're gonna flip your saxophone over. Wiggle, here's the heavy part. Okay, and I'm holding on pretty strong. I'm not bending the keys, but I've got my saxophone. I'm not going to drop it. And pull, and I'm going to try and do it a little slower so you can see. Okay, pull it through. Okay, there it is. Okay, so cleaning cloth back in the case. Remember, like I said, if you lose your cleaning cloth or your neck strap, you will have to buy me a new one. Sorry. Okay, instrument back in the case, like a puzzle piece. Okay, everything's in. I've got the body, the neck, the mouthpiece, the cap over the mouthpiece, reed, cleaning cloth, and neck strap. If everything's there, latch it up. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it. If you notice that any of the keys on your instrument are loose, bring it to me. I can sometimes fix it. And other than that, I think you guys are going to be great. I'll see you later. Bye.